There we have it, chaps. The engine itself is now back in. It's not bolted in properly though yet. It's just literally dropped on its mounts because this mount here and that one down there are absolutely fine. They line up okay. But because we've changed the gearbox to a later one, as well as the differential here being further over, to basically mean that you've got a bigger diff inside, bigger, stronger bearings, that pushes the whole lot over that way further. Consequently, when I had this mounting on here, you had these two bolts here not lining up with the mounting at all, mounting finished here and the bolts obviously there. But when I basically put it in, thinking, well, at least if you've got those two and we can sort of mount out later, couldn't even get the mount to fit because due to the fact the whole thing's pushed over further like that, due to the size of that area, the mounting was sitting all the way over here somewhere. So consequently I had to unbolt it off, drop it all the way down. Initially I had a block of wood between here and the subframe, and I thought, no, I didn't quite like it because it was actually resting on this box here, which is just literally an end cover that covers over the fifth gear assembly on the end. So what I've done is just literally sort of lift it up enough to just literally wedge that mounting between the casing and the subframe just so it's resting on something. So the next stage is I need to find either a JB1 gearbox mounting from a Renault 5 or Renault 11 or a Renault 9. Or I also heard from Paul that apparently the Renault 19 uses yet the same gearbox with a slightly different mounting. So there's a few options to explore, so at least I've got a few options to try and find one online. I'm now preparing to make it so that I can give this thing a start up. I'm not looking to ramp temperature or anything like that. I just want to literally be able to start it up for probably about a minute or so, which is about the most you can really run engine without a cooling system or anything like that. Just means that I can sort of just quickly start it up, have a listen and just see how it roughly sounds. Just fitted the fuel pipes. They are rubber between the engine and the body, and then between the body and the tank, but the rest of it is all metal pipes. I've now routed all the wiring. I forgot to mention earlier the battery cable that comes straight off the battery, which is this side here, and then this side here goes to the alternator. Just need to get that on there, but it's a bit fiddly, it's on the other side of it. That's all secure as it's supposed to be. This is all routed around correctly. I thought, sod it, let's put the alternator on because the wiring on here actually completes a circuit that gets the power to the engine. So without this on, actually it won't even work. So you try and find the right nut for there. It's a bit of a pain of the size. Things like that is 7 or 8mm, so it's one of the bizarre sizes. Obviously you see to get the carburetor back on. Midway through putting the carburetor back on, sort of setting up everything's going to go here. So you've got the breathing part that goes on that middle terminal, as I said, the manifold up to a T-piece, and then that T-piece follows on little tube to rock cover. That's basically a breather system. Basically uses a vacuum of the engine to basically draw out all the crankcase oil pressure. Now this is our heat shield, and what this basically does is exactly what really the 10 could do with, if I'm honest, which basically, because obviously you got the manifold and the exhaust manifold underneath the inlet manifold, it just basically tries to shield the carburetor a little bit from all the heat coming off the exhaust, ease off the effects of fuel vaporization issues, absorbing too much of the heat. You've also got the heat spacer there, which again isolates the carburetor a little bit to help with the issue. We want to make sure there's a gasket between manifold and the heat shield like there is, like that. Another gasket on top, and then put the carburetor on top. Push that on, and I'll show all the cables as well. Just made sure the bits that need to be clean are, because that just makes it physically work. It doesn't matter how pretty it looks in my opinion, so just get it back together, that's good enough for me. These pipes here coming off because due to this being a later engine, the later engines used fuel injection, and consequently whereas the carburetors had a preheated base plate at the bottom run off the cooling system, which is what these go to normally, the water pumps on the later injection models do not have the outlets, which are normally there, I think, and about there. So consequently we'll just take them off, it'll be absolutely fine. This carburetor is very handily. The studs hold it on literally just 2M8. So this is your return spring for the throttle that clips onto the rock cover like so, like that. So then you pull it like that from the operating pedal inside. So yeah, we put it in this clamp it up and then tighten it down appropriately. And then just inside this little bit here, there we go, just inside there you got that little open side. And what you want to do is, this isn't original fitment, I can assure you that. It's literally what came with the cable kit we used 8 years ago, and because we couldn't attach it by weld or solder or anything like that, I just said, well, why don't you just put an electrical connection on there and you can adjust it if need be. And that T-piece literally just falls in to that hole. If you turn that bit properly, that is. Here we go. Done 100 times, I promise you. There we go, like that. And then job done. Now pull the cable and voila. Choke cable, which as I said comes across like so. If we thread it through the HGs, it probably fits better, I reckon. Like that, there you go. Now, best thing is here is to fit it on there first on the end of the cable, then just pull it back and snap it into there with the clip. Easiest way is you pull that around like that so the choke flap itself is shut. If you get it at just right angle, nice and dead straight, this one will go dead straight, you can literally slip it straight over. You don't even need a pair of pliers or a screwdriver. Yep, it went straight on with my finger on the end of it as soon as I turned the camera off, as per usual. So now what we do is, so if the lever inside is all the way down, which it would be if the it was all open like that, what you then do is you hold one side like so, you push that end away the opposite way like that, and then you lock the end there into place. So we get our little clip, which is, it was there it is. Right, so the bottom clip here is straight like that, the bottom half clips in the bottom, and then the cable goes at the very, very bottom end. Push it down like that, and hey presto, it snaps into place like that. I think the only thing I've now forgotten to do is, quite genuinely, A, put the starter motor wire on, and B, put the blooming exhaust on the downpipe. But never mind, it's not too hard. Right, truth people, I've just chucked a new oil filter on. I've also put some new oil in it. Look for the best now and put your fingers together. Yeah. Right, I've connected the battery up. We're not running all cooling system or anything like that, so just leave that as it is. Everything should be okay. What I'll do for now though is I'll take the king lead off, make sure that's got blooming oil pressure before we start getting any further. In fact, better still not do that, because I've seen what can happen if you do that. So I'll take it off. I'll just unplug the whole thing, actually, to be fair. That way we definitely can't have any sparks coming from anywhere. That's my approach. So, right, got no drive shaft taps, so the gear is absolutely irrelevant right now. Leave the choke off. Just want to get that oil pressure light out first. Right, we've got oil pressure, that's a good start. We'll connect the ignition up, the fuel line is on there. So now let's try plugging this in and put my fingers together. Pull the choke up so as soon as it gets fuel, theoretically it should start firing to life for us. See if we've got anything coming through here yet. If we nudge that back, still haven't got nothing to choke. That's insane. These do take a blooming age. Oh really? Okay chaps, just noticed a blooming problem. Blooming schoolboy error. Look, hour in, hour out, we put them all the way. What a dipstick. Should we give that a try, shall we? Now it's on the right way round. What a muppet. I do surprise myself sometimes, even my muppetry. Right, let's give it a go, shall we? Choke all the way back up, light will come on. Well, until the connection goes dodgy again. Right, yeah, so on these it fires 1342 from the flywheel end on Renaults, not timing like most of the ones. So one is normally facing this way, so it goes 1342. Okay, that's all connected properly. Yeah. Right, let's go a bit longer, shall we? Juice now, that's a pain. Ah, excellent. Right, okay. We've now got fuel sparking up. That's the start. We're now hopefully going to get somewhere in that case. Hopefully. Come on, girl, come on. Oh, not really now, really. Well, let's give it a try, shall we? We've got a bit of boost now. Something we ain't got then. We ain't got something. Okay, let's check a few things over. And very typically, I just took HC'd off and put one of my old ones on to test it with actually a spark. As I tested it, had spark, the bloody thing fired up, didn't it? That is always a typical blue and white happens, trust me. Last time it happened was on my mate's Polo and it stood there for about 5 seconds electrocuting me. As always. Yep. Ah, that'll be the other cylinder. That sounds lovely compared to what the old one did. Slightly bit the old exhaust, but that sounds lovelier. That is lovely. Absolutely lovely, that is. Oh yeah, I'm very happy with that. That sounds sweet as nut in comparison to the old one. Happy days, indeed.